Climate change is the long-term alteration of temperature and typical weather patterns in a place. It's not just about warmer temperatures. It encompasses extreme weather events like hurricanes and droughts becoming more frequent and intense. For example, the global average temperature has risen by 1.2 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times, according to NASA data. This may seem small, but it's already leading to significant impacts. The Arctic sea ice extent in September, which is when it's at its lowest, has decreased by about 13% per decade from 1979 through 2018. These changes are happening worldwide and affect everything from food production to human health. So, as we dive deeper into this topic, let's explore how these shifts are affecting our planet and what we can do to mitigate the impacts of climate change. Over the past century, global temperatures have risen significantly. According to NASA and NOAA data, Earth's average surface temperature has increased by about 1 degree Celsius since the late 19th century. This may seem small, but it's a critical shift that affects everything from weather patterns to ecosystems. The primary cause of this warming is human activity, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane. These gases trap heat in our atmosphere, leading to what we call the greenhouse effect. For example, burning fossil fuels for electricity and transportation releases massive amounts of CO2 into the air. Deforestation also plays a role by reducing the number of trees that can absorb this excess CO2. This warming trend is not just a scientific concern. It's impacting real-world scenarios like more frequent heat waves and extreme weather events. As we move forward, understanding these causes will be crucial in addressing the broader impacts of climate change. Climate change is one of the biggest threats to biodiversity worldwide. As temperatures rise and weather patterns become more unpredictable, many species are struggling to adapt. For example, in the Arctic, polar bears are facing severe challenges due to melting sea ice, which reduces their hunting grounds. According to the World Wildlife Fund, we've lost around 68% of wildlife populations since 1970, largely due to habitat loss and climate change. In Australia, the Great Barrier Reef has experienced multiple coral bleaching events in recent years as ocean temperatures rise, threatening thousands of species that depend on it for survival. These changes are not just affecting animals. Plants are also suffering from shifting climates, leading to a cascade effect throughout ecosystems. Understanding these impacts is crucial if we hope to mitigate biodiversity loss and preserve the rich tapestry of life on Earth. Next, let's explore how climate change affects human health directly. Climate change isn't just an environmental issue, it's also a significant economic challenge. For instance, extreme weather events like hurricanes and droughts can devastate local economies. In 2017 alone, Hurricane Harvey caused over $125 billion in damages in the United States. These costs don't just come from rebuilding infrastructure, but also from lost productivity and increased healthcare expenses. Additionally, a report by the Global Commission on the Economy and Climate estimates that climate change could cost the global economy up to $4 trillion annually by 2039 if left unchecked. The economic impacts are widespread, affecting everything from agriculture to insurance industries. As we move forward, understanding these financial ramifications is crucial for developing effective strategies to mitigate and adapt to climate change. Next, let's explore how climate change affects human health on a global scale. Adaptation strategies are crucial for dealing with the impacts of climate change. For example, in Bangladesh, where rising sea levels threaten millions of people, they've implemented early warning systems and flood shelters to protect communities during extreme weather events. Similarly, in parts of Africa, farmers are turning to drought-resistant crops like sorghum and millet, which can thrive even with reduced rainfall. These crops not only help ensure food security, but also reduce the vulnerability of farming families to climate shocks. Around the world, cities are adopting green infrastructure such as urban forests and permeable pavements to manage increased stormwater runoff from heavier rains. For instance, New York City has planted over 1 million trees since 2007 to combat rising temperatures and improve air quality. As we continue to develop these strategies, it's clear that collaboration between governments, communities, and international organizations is essential for effective adaptation. Next, let's look at the role of technology in combating climate change. International agreements play a crucial role in addressing climate change by bringing nations together to set common goals and commitments. One of the most significant is the Paris Agreement, adopted in 2015, which aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. As of now, 197 countries are part of this agreement, showing a global commitment to tackling climate change collectively. Another example is the Kyoto Protocol from 1997, which was the first international treaty aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. While it had its limitations, it laid important groundwork for future agreements like the Paris Accord. These agreements not only set targets, but also encourage countries to share technology and financial resources. Moving forward, we'll explore how these commitments are translated into action on the ground. Global warming is not just about rising temperatures, it's also driving an increase in extreme weather events. For instance, as global temperatures rise, we see more intense heat waves. In 2019, Europe experienced its hottest summer on record, with countries like France and Germany breaking their all-time temperature records. Warmer air holds more moisture, leading to heavier rainfall and more frequent flooding. A stark example is the devastating floods in Germany and Belgium in July 2021, which were made up to 9 times more likely due to climate change, according to scientists. These extreme weather events are becoming more common as global temperatures continue to rise, putting communities around the world at greater risk. Next, we'll explore how these changes affect our oceans and marine life. Climate change is having profound effects on global agriculture. Rising temperatures and unpredictable weather patterns are leading to decreased crop yields in many regions. For instance, studies show that for every degree Celsius increase in temperature, major crops like wheat and maize can see a reduction of about 6% in yield. This isn't just theoretical. In sub-Saharan Africa, farmers have already experienced significant losses due to prolonged droughts and erratic rainfall. In India, the changing monsoon patterns have disrupted planting cycles and caused widespread crop failures. These impacts not only threaten food security, but also exacerbate economic instability for millions of small-scale farmers worldwide. As we move forward, it's crucial to understand how these changes are reshaping our agricultural landscapes and what measures can be taken to mitigate their effects. Next, let's explore the impact on coastal communities. Climate change isn't just about rising temperatures and melting ice caps. It has profound impacts on our health. For example, extreme heat waves have led to thousands of deaths worldwide. In 2003 alone, an intense heat wave in Europe claimed over 70,000 lives. Additionally, the spread of vector-borne diseases like malaria and dengue fever is increasing as warmer temperatures expand the habitats for mosquitoes. A study by the World Health Organization estimates that between 2030 and 2050, climate change could cause approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year from malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea, and heat stress alone. These health impacts underscore why addressing climate change is crucial for our well-being. Next, we'll explore how economic systems are affected by these changes. Climate change is making water scarcity one of the most pressing issues we face. According to the United Nations, by 2050, half of the world's population could be living in areas of high water stress due to climate change. In regions like sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia, where water resources are already limited, the effects are even more severe. For example, Cape Town almost ran out of water in 2018, a situation exacerbated by prolonged droughts linked to climate change. The shrinking glaciers in the Himalayas threaten the water supply for over 1 billion people downstream. As temperatures rise and weather patterns become unpredictable, ensuring access to clean water will be crucial. Next, we'll explore how these changes are affecting global food security. Rising sea levels are one of the most pressing consequences of climate change. As global temperatures increase, ice sheets and glaciers melt, causing sea levels to rise at an alarming rate. According to NASA, sea levels have risen about 8 inches in the last century, with the pace accelerating over the past few decades. This may not seem like much, but it has profound impacts on coastal communities around the world. For instance, the Maldives, a chain of islands in the Indian Ocean, is facing existential threats as rising seas encroach upon its low-lying landmasses. The country's highest point is only about 7 feet above sea level, making it extremely vulnerable to flooding and erosion. Closer to home, cities like Miami are already experiencing more frequent tidal flooding during high tides. As we move forward, the effects of rising seas will continue to reshape our coastlines and challenge communities worldwide. Next, let's dive into how these changes affect biodiversity and ecosystems. Climate change is not just about rising temperatures and melting ice caps. It's also a significant driver of human migration. As extreme weather events become more frequent and severe, millions are forced to leave their homes in search of safety and stability. For example, in 2017 alone, hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria displaced over 3 million people in the United States. Similarly, in Bangladesh, rising sea levels have already led to significant internal displacement, with estimates suggesting that by 2050, up to 18 million people could be forced to move due to climate impacts. These migrations not only strain local resources, but also create complex social and political challenges. Understanding these patterns is crucial as we prepare for the future. Next, let's explore how climate change affects global food security. Climate change poses an enormous threat to ecosystems around the world. As temperatures rise and weather patterns shift, many species are struggling to adapt. For instance, in the Arctic, melting sea ice is forcing polar bears into smaller habitats, leading to increased competition for food and higher mortality rates. Similarly, coral reefs, which support about 25% of all marine life, face severe bleaching events due to warmer ocean temperatures. When corals die off, entire ecosystems can collapse, affecting not just the marine species, but also coastal communities that rely on fishing and tourism. The loss of these critical habitats could trigger a domino effect across the globe, threatening biodiversity and human livelihoods. Understanding these risks is crucial as we move forward to protect our planet's delicate ecological balance. Next, let's explore how climate change impacts global food security. Technological innovations are playing a crucial role in our fight against climate change. For instance, solar power has become increasingly efficient and affordable. In fact, the cost of solar panels has dropped by about 82% since 2010, making it one of the fastest-growing sources of renewable energy worldwide. Another exciting development is electric vehicles, EV. Tesla, for example, has not only popularized EVs, but also significantly advanced battery technology. By 2040, it's estimated that electric cars could make up 35% of global passenger vehicle sales, drastically reducing emissions from the transportation sector. These advancements show how technology can be a powerful tool in mitigating climate change impacts. Next, we'll explore some of the policy measures being implemented around the world to support these innovations. Policy changes are crucial in addressing climate change because they set the framework for how countries and communities can reduce emissions and adapt to environmental shifts. For example, the Paris Agreement, signed by 196 parties, aims to limit global temperature rise this century well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Countries like Costa Rica have already made significant strides. It plans to become carbon neutral by 2050 through policies that promote renewable energy and reforestation. These policy shifts not only reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also drive innovation in clean technologies. In the United States, states like California have implemented stringent regulations on vehicle emissions, leading to a decrease of about 13% in transportation-related carbon dioxide from 2007 to 2016. As we can see, effective policies are essential for making tangible progress against climate change. Next, let's explore how individual actions complement these broader policy efforts. While governments and corporations play a crucial role in combating climate change, individual actions can also make a significant impact. For example, reducing meat consumption can lower your carbon footprint significantly since the livestock sector alone produces around 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Another impactful action is switching to renewable energy sources like solar or wind power at home. In fact, if every household in the U.S. installed just one solar panel, it would be equivalent to planting over 100 million trees per year. Every small step counts and can collectively lead to substantial change. So, let's all do our part and inspire others around us to take action too. Next, we'll dive into how communities are coming together to tackle climate challenges on a larger scale. Climate change denial is a significant hurdle in addressing this global crisis. Despite overwhelming scientific evidence, some still question its existence and impacts. For instance, over 97% of climate scientists agree that human activities are causing global temperatures to rise. However, misinformation and skepticism continue to spread, delaying crucial actions needed to mitigate the effects. Take Australia as an example. Despite being one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change, political debates often downplay its severity. This denial not only hinders policy changes, but also diverts public attention from urgent solutions like renewable energy adoption and carbon reduction strategies. The longer we delay action, the more severe the consequences will be. Understanding and addressing this denial is crucial for moving forward with effective global policies. Next, let's explore how climate change affects our oceans and marine life. The future outlook for climate change mitigation is both challenging and hopeful. According to the IPCC, we need to cut global emissions by about 45% from 2010 levels by 2030 to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Countries like Costa Rica have already pledged to become carbon neutral by 2050, showcasing that ambitious goals can be set and achieved with strong policies and international cooperation. However, the road ahead is fraught with obstacles, including funding gaps and technological limitations in some regions. Despite these challenges, advancements in renewable energy technologies are making it increasingly feasible for nations to shift away from fossil fuels. For instance, solar power costs have dropped by 89% since 2010, making it more accessible than ever before. As we look ahead, the success of our mitigation efforts will depend on global unity and rapid action. Next, let's explore how individual actions can contribute to these larger goals. Today, we've covered how climate change is not just an environmental issue, but a global crisis that impacts every aspect of our lives. We've seen how rising sea levels threaten coastal cities like Miami and Mumbai, where over 40 million people could be displaced by 2100 if we don't act now. We've also discussed the devastating effects on agriculture, with crop yields decreasing up to 30% in some regions due to extreme weather events. These facts paint a grim picture, but they also highlight why collective action is crucial. Every country, community, and individual has a role to play, from reducing carbon emissions to supporting sustainable practices. By working together, we can mitigate the worst impacts of climate change. As we move forward in our journey towards sustainability, remember that every small step counts in this global effort. As we wrap up this journey into understanding the global impact of climate change, it's clear that every action counts. Did you know that by 2050, if current trends continue, sea levels could rise by over a meter, putting millions at risk? And in just the last century, Earth's average temperature has risen by about 1 degree Celsius. These are stark realities, but they also highlight how urgent it is for us to act now. Please share this video with your friends and family to spread awareness. Keep an eye on reliable sources like NASA and the IPCC for the latest updates and findings. Let's all commit to staying informed and making changes in our daily lives that can have a significant impact. Thank you for watching, and let's continue this important conversation together.